Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of After Hours, where guys, you don't gotta go home, so grab a chair, grab a drink, and let's dish. Joining us again is Mr. Philip Church, and guys, we have a doozy for you, and because we're gonna be talking, we're gonna go a little off-roading, like we like to do sometimes with these open discussion, rando kind of conversations. Because
Buckle up, mother lovers.
yeah, all you beholders out there, buckle up because something has happened. Something has happened. You probably heard a bit ago. Could be a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. I don't know when you heard it. Maybe it's right now that because we're talking about it. But a certain Mr. Stephen Colbert and the Late Show, his Late Show, the entire franchise is going off air in May 2026. They're not only canceling, retiring, however you want to look at it, they're not only ending his tenure with the show, they are ending the entire franchise. And I thought there was a very special conversation within that idea and construct, and some of the ramifications, especially when we dig a little deeper, because publicly, guys, if you have been following this, publicly they cited financial reasons, put air quotes around that, financial reasons as to the reasoning behind the ending of the show and the closure of the franchise entirely. Now, privately, behind the scenes, there has been speculation that what happened was there was some settled litigation with a certain current president, and that was juxtaposed by Colbert's parent company going through a merger and needing the government's permission and green light to complete the acquisition and the merger. And people are speculating that that part of the settlement, not only financially, was someone said to the new head of the eventual merging companies that a certain president wanted to get rid of Colbert. We don't know exactly what what is going behind the scenes, but it is, it doesn't it would be a crazy coincidence if this was if it was truly only financial reasons. Now, guys, before we dig into this, we're not a political show, and I feel like the politics of something like this easily gets lost, or like the conversation easily gets lost in the politics of this. So I actually want to play a little bit of a devil's advocate, because when I was thinking about Stephen Colbert's show and the late night show in and of itself coming to a close, and since it's part of some of the legacy talk shows and late night shows, up there with obviously the Tonight Show, currently Jimmy Fallon, and some auxiliary stuff, like the Late Late Show with Seth Meyers, things like that. But I did want to play a little bit of devil's advocate in the conversation because,
Because we don't want to get canceled.
well, we're not big enough to get canceled.
What?
I did want to spend a little time speculating on the publicly reported reason of it being financial, because when you do remove the politics and what people think are going on behind the scenes, isn't there some truth to that? Isn't, like, if I was a studio exec and I was looking at a show like Colbert's, and for the record, I love Stephen Colbert. I love him with the fiery passion. I followed his career from Strangers with Candy to the Daily Show to the Colbert Report, and
Mr.
of course,
Jellyneck.
and all the way to, of course, his own, his own show.
Iteration of this.
Yeah, iteration of his talk show, The Late Night with Stephen Colbert. But when I was doing some homework and some research into this, I thought to myself, Colbert has 200 people on the team to produce his show night
That's
after
a
night
lot.
alone. We have, what, Philip, 4 or 5 active crew and members to make our show. at a fraction of the price,
If you're counting me, then yeah.
and we are a version of a talk show. And I thought, God, between YouTube and podcasts, there's a million and one versions of this now. There's so many talk shows. So isn't there some truth that this is a financial reason? That there's financial reasons as well, Philip?
I mean, to an extent, it's and I don't know all the behind the scenes things, so it's hard to say that it's not because knowing what it would take to employ 200 people on a fair enough salary to in order to both make a quality show and retain said good talent. I mean, that alone is going to cost you what, $1 million a year or something?
Probably
And
more than
that's
that.
well,
They
and that's not considering the fact that what is it not made out of New York?
It is. I
So
actually
then,
I actually went to a taping in April, believe it or not.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it
So
was
then,
great.
so if they're in New York and these people are expected to be able to be on a livable salary, then even
In New
even
York.
that, like there's no way they're not making less than what entry level support people are making. And let's say, I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I did my math wrong. I missed a zero. $10 million a year. That's lowballing it. 10 million is lowballing it for what it would take to have 200 people employed in the city of New York.
Well, in
And then
most of
Colbert is a
their
host, and he's going to be making,
yeah, he's
the
gonna be
most.
making
So
the most
he's not
exactly.
making the same as the lowest person on the staff. So again, 10 million is a hilariously low ball, and that's a lot of money every year. And I don't even know. I couldn't tell you how long he's been on it.
A
I don't
decade. It's
remember
been
when
10
he started.
years.
He's been on it for 10 years. Okay,
Yeah,
you probably just said
2015.
that. Okay, um,
I didn't, but
okay, good. Because I was
not
gonna
you.
say, I promise I'm trying to pay attention.
I know there was a little background. There was some after hours briefings we had to do for Philip and the audience. Remember, their model is built on advertisements, right? And if
Mhm.
they don't have enough in the in in our arts and entertainment economy, that is the clicks and the eyeballs, if they don't have enough, they're never going to be making enough returns to feasibly keep a show of this magnitude and quality and just price tag afloat. Because guess how old the average viewer of Colbert?
50.
Not a bad guess. It was like, I think, 68 with
Damn.
the last metric, between 65 and 70. But
Why are
that
they
makes
up so
sense
late?
because it makes sense because the legacy shows, a lot of the reviewers are for people that still have cable,
As
right?
well as insomnia.
But because of the separation of the audience, the extreme schisms of people going to Netflix for their entertainment,
Oh yeah,
or all the
Netflix,
others,
HBO, Hulu,
yeah,
Prime,
all the other, but then
Vudu,
also,
Tubi.
this format, the talk show, has been essentially taken over by us,
Everybody.
the podcasters.
Also
And
that.
if you're a celebrity, especially if you have, kind of the numbers that like, Rogan has, and then the trickle down from there. I actually counted how many in the top. Spotify's now has a an ever evolving list of the top, I think 200 podcasts at any given time. Guess how many talk shows were just in the top 20?
I was debating if I should say something stupid like a number below 20. That was my first and foremost reaction, if I'm going to be
It's a
perfectly
hundred
honest.
percent. It's all 20. No,
Okay.
uh, it's not all 20. It was a little over 50%. 11 of the 20 were talk shows,
Hmm.
and all completely different. And all, it was, of
That's not
course,
what I was
Rogan.
expecting.
Rogan was number one. Tucker Carlson, I think, was in the top five. And then you have, I think the brand new A Good Hang with Amy Poehler is up there now. And it
Oh
just goes to
yeah.
show that everybody and their mom is saying it's not a financial reason that this show is being axed, but I feel like it has to be a part of the equation. Here's my theory. And then you can do a jump ball and tell me what you think. I actually believe that it is a financial reason. I think they are taking him off the air not because of ratings, because here's another fun fact, guys. He's the number one. He has the number one show of that time slot and of that kind of variety show.
Yeah,
He
of the
has
late shows,
yeah
including
of the
Jimmy
late shows
Fallon, Jimmy
exactly.
Kimmel,
Yeah,
Seth
he
Meyers, I
is.
believe.
Yes, he is number one in the ratings, and I have Philip and I have been in this world at least long enough. Not that we're like huge veterans. We've been in the game at least long enough, a few years now, to learn a hard truth and a hard fact that numbers, the subscribers, the followers, however you want to look at it, does not always equal profits. Because if there's people showing up, but they're not like buying some proverbial ticket to the thing, it's one thing to have a ton of subscribers and a ton of people watching, but if they're not buying the merch or they're not buying the CD or they're not buying the, whatever the version of the thing is, if they're not, I call it the ticket. If they're not, they're showing up, but they're not supporting the artist. They're not actually buying the tickets, to go to the show, so to speak. And that's, with these legacy shows, the shows are free. You don't have to actually pay to go see Colbert. You just have to sign up and get on a lottery and hope that you actually get tickets.
Oh, no
Again, almost all of the revenue is from advertisements. But if they don't have enough people advertising because they don't have the numbers to back it up, of course it's going to start dwindling in revenue.
And that's not even touching the actual content of the show, because that's its own sort of
Exactly.
different factor. But besides the viewing like numbers, the viewers, and then the ratings, all of these are different, essentially not statistics, but it's just factors in an equation.
Right, exactly. And to make matters worse, so when it comes to those, when remember ratings are its own metric, right? That's not talking about like YouTube subscribers or Instagram subscribers or whatever, right? It's its own metric, and even though they're number one, they are way low in all of the other metrics. Like YouTube subscribers alone, they are in third place below Jimmy Fallon, or excuse me, Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Kimmel has number two at 20 million. Jimmy Fallon has number one at 30 million. But remember, they get ad revenue from that too. They get a piece of that pie. And if you're not, and if you clearly, if you do not have the digital game, the online game, the TikTok game, if you will, I think, drown when you're at that level and you have so many people on the payroll. You have 200 on the payroll,
That's a lot.
and yeah, you have 200 on the payroll, and yeah, we're wondering why we can't take the financial reasons public statement seriously when we really should. Because so here's what I did. I did a classic Novo and took the long way to the finish line. So here's what I was going to say. I do think there is some truth that probably the ultimate reasons are financial, but the catalyst, the thing that probably was gonna speed this up, and probably, dare I say, be the death of these legacy show formats, was our current president, or all these mergers, and our current president wanting to silence his critics.
That's a factor. That
Yeah.
that to me is always worth pointing out. It didn't not play a part, right? There's even been kind of a victory lap ever since it was announced. They, I believe, legitimately expressed pleasure. I can't recall if it was the president himself or if it was his one of his many mouthpieces, but there was a sort of, hey, we did it. There was a bit of a like congrats to us, a little pat on the back, a little victory lap, and there's no way it didn't affect things.
Mm.
All financials and whatnot aside, because that part is also so messy, and it's such a strange coincidence that it just so happened that it was called for right before it happened. Yes, the merger was also taking place right now, so it could kinda, as far as a chicken and an
And they
egg.
needed the government to approve the merger
Right,
too.
right. So there's all these weird factors where
So the
it's not
president
like.
could have called someone up and said, "Yeah, I'll hit the button if you do something for me." So
Yeah,
that probably is true. We'll never know, right? There's no
and
evidence.
I'll say this, just to sort of play devil's advocate, but also just be honest. Of the late night show clips that I have seen, I do think late night television overall is declining still. I don't know if it's because of the advent of more cable channels than we need.
I would go so far as to say this is the beginning of the end. I would say this is the marker in time that this is the death of late night.
It could be. And for even a lot of the clips that basically the only thing that I have enjoyed from
Because
late
Conan already,
oh, Conan,
already, Conan already quit,
he's privatized
and
basically.
then
He's
and
he's
then
he's also doing the podcast now.
he's doing the podcast thing,
He's
and
just it's
then
just him in
the
a room with some other people. There are cameras, but it's not done up to where it was like a show with sketches and stuff, right?
and then there was a show after Colbert with the comedian Taylor Taylor something,
Tomlinson. Yeah.
yeah, Tomlinson, and she quit not too long ago, and the reason there
I don't
was
even
she
remember
said
that happening.
she wanted to go back to her roots. Like she just wanted to do stand up again. She didn't want to host a show, which it makes total sense. But again, if we're going to speculate, maybe there were some financial reasons there too, because I don't think a lot of people were watching.
No, and things are only more expensive. We all have less money than ever between the pandemic and everything since. Just the economy has not been great, and I'm definitely not buying from late night commercials myself because I'm not even
We're
watching
not
it.
buying the
But
tickets.
part
Yeah,
of the reason I'm
we're not
watching it, and
buying.
to kind of return to my point, was just that I don't know the last time a late night skit really got me and where I was like, wow, this is great. How funny. I love this. Outside of the lip sync battles, like watching
Yeah,
Spider-Man boy, what's his name? Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland. Yeah,
Watching Tom Holland do Rihanna's
that is classic.
Umbrella was
Yeah,
amazing. And
Ella,
some of those
Ella
performances for
got me a little wet.
just
No pun intended.
yeah, I mean, based genuinely like
Pun
that was
intended.
actually some top tier, and there's a lot of your production costs, right? That you have to. I guarantee you, those celebrities wanted some
Literal
incentive.
rain in the
Yeah, and then all the
in
dancers,
the
and then
show.
all the court. And it's not like they just had never done this before, and like, oh, we all just showed up and danced. No, they practiced this. It's not like they only get paid once per hour per night, right? Again, these people are all on salary. They're working a lot around the clock, and choreographers, blah blah blah. So that stuff alone, it probably also ate up tens of millions of dollars, and that's some of the best stuff that I've seen. Because otherwise, sadly, it's just not great content.
And that's crazy old too.
I know it's not
That
like
is like
that's actually recent. That's like
yeah,
6 or 7 years old, if not more.
maybe more. I don't even remember
I
exactly
couldn't
when it
tell
came.
you at this
Yeah, I want
point.
to say like it feels like a decade ago though, right? But you're not wrong. I think you make a really good point that
eight
it was 8. Okay.
eight years ago.
8 years ago. But you make a really good point that the content, the game's the same, but the field is different, or the field is the same, but the game is different. Something like that. Remember, when we were growing up,
Remember?
the only game in town was I grew up with Letterman, and so if I wanted to watch this kind of marketing with some celebrity, with a talk show host talking to a celebrity about their new project, we had two choices, guys. That makes me feel like makes it sound like remember when our parents would complain about
Oh, we had
we had
3
two
channels.
channels. Yeah,
Nope,
we
I
had
still
two
hear that.
talk show hosts. But I mean, really, like we had two talk show hosts, and it was starting to that market was starting to grow a little bit. I remember when like Carson Daly had like a late show, like it was like 2 a.m. or something. But the fact of the matter was these were far and few between, and so and there wasn't a lot of other I guess there was versions of it. There was the Daily Show that's still popular now, and there's some other places where there was a talk show variety element, and they would interview celebrities. But now we have every celebrity on the planet with their own talk show.
Well, we also have the fact that there's more celebrities for dumber than ever too. Just the way that
Oh,
social
like the
media
Hawk Tuah
and
girl,
technology, basically, yeah, that anybody becomes a celebrity
or what's the
overnight.
new one right now? I feel like there's
I
always a
don't
flavor
even
of the
know,
month.
man. I don't care anymore.
The Hawk Tuah girl kind of was squashed,
I don't
with the
care.
controversies. But you know what I mean. There's
None
the
of this
internet likes to
matters.
do that.
Yeah, just between the celebrities themselves and some of these personalities not having a achievement or anything real to their name, that has weakened the shows. The fact that I swear society is getting stupider. Maybe it's just that we know more about each
Like
other than ever.
Idiocracy.
Pretty much. I swear all the brain rot content and just all the stuff that's been going on since the internet began, sadly, it's just we've devolved. and the standards
Uh,
have lowered as well.
Probably a little bit, yeah. And I
Not every
think
single individual, but just, I mean, as far as a society goes,
well, yeah,
like,
I think society and culture is changing dramatically because we used to be such a community of readers, a culture of readers, and now we are. I've actually listened to documentary style podcasts on this, and listened to a few traditional documentaries that we are transitioning back to oral histories, like Homer doing the Iliad
yeah,
and
because
shit
of
like that
podcasts.
because of yeah well because everything is recordable and you can record audio and video and everything is all of those possibilities are at your fingertips and in your pocket, and why should we type things out when we can tell you how we feel?
Why should I bother learning how to write when I already know how to talk? I
Exactly.
can sing. No, I'm kidding.
Da, da, da. No, but like it
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
that's a whole nother conversation.
And
We've talked
it's
about this.
subjective.
Yeah,
There's plenty of people out there that probably love the current content scape and are perfectly happy with it, and that's fine. I'm a grumpy old I get it.
it's hard to be, it's easy to say like, oh, this is, we're getting dumber and this is getting worse, but the fact of the matter is
Nova, do
we're
you hang around children these days? It doesn't sound like you do.
I don't. Well, yeah, actually you could speak well to that. I mean, you have a young son.
Luckily, he is young enough to where I'm not in any way insinuating that my son is
You
one
have
of the
the
stupid ones.
blinders. You have the blinders on right now,
Well,
right?
he's young enough to where he's supposed to be goofy and not know anything, and it's cute for him. It's the fact that I have unfortunately somehow just managed to be around like witness just enough like youth culture where they're regurgitating all of the dumbest unfiltered crap that has made it onto YouTube, and they think that that's true culture. And like some people make jokes about it if it's a funny meme. It's like, no, the fact that your 8-year-old said goodnight to you by saying, "Don't forget to like and subscribe," that's sad. That's not how you say goodbye. That's how YouTubers sign off. And it's funny to an extent. I remember being like, "Ha ha," and then I was like, "That's how much that
Did your
kid
son
watches
do that to
garbage
you?
ass." No, again, luckily not my
Okay.
son. My son is sweet. He still just says normal things like, "I love you," and "Let's play." But there's just so many examples that I've witnessed of. I mean, God, it was just intern season at our office recent, like my other job. It was just wild. These kids just didn't even, they were just in there in t-shirts and jeans and cursing in front of people. And it's like, you're not even done with college. This could impact the rest of your life, you little idiot. Like, show some respect.
They're not taking it seriously enough.
They're not. Nobody takes anything seriously because all the standards keep getting lowered. I think part of that is due to just the lowering standards of the fact that everybody can make content. It doesn't matter content, doesn't matter if it's trash, and everybody can put it out there and get it seen. Everybody expects to be able to go live on TikTok and here's my million views. And it's just people have
And they
debased
get it
themselves.
sometimes.
They do because they debase themselves for it more often than not. Hawk Tua.
You are going to close the circle on accident because just to bring a background
Oh, are
circle.
you sure about that?
Oh, no, I'm very sure. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to close the circle by
Oh,
saying
but that was an
this.
accident.
What you are saying is the reality that we have so many different versions of this format like never before, and the audience is split like never before. So I don't think it's crazy to say that you probably agree with me that there is financial reasons here.
Oh, yeah. I don't buy cable. I don't subscribe to a cable package, and I don't watch any of these things. So I'm neither paying part of their bill nor am I giving them
Right.
ratings. And I'm one of many people that I know that are like that also do not have, whether it's Comcast or whatever garbage company that you have to put up with to be able to watch your cable, or if you just can get it through your internet. I don't even know because I haven't had cable in that long, and that's the trend. People, more and more people are doing that because it's becoming these bespoke packages of like, oh, we'll just get Hulu and YouTube Plus, and your cable company will throw in NBC for free or something. I don't know. Peacock, whatever. But yeah, I mean, again, literally everything has its own app now. So yeah, like I don't subscribe to any of that stuff, much
Yeah.
less watch it. So I mean, I'm far from alone in that. So absolutely, a part of it is financial. There's not a doubt in my mind. Just because this isn't getting Marvel movie turnout. You're just not gonna get bangers every night. I mean, even go see the same band, follow them on tour. Some shows are better than others, and then go listen to all their music. Some albums are better than others. Listen to any one album. Some songs are better than others.
You guys should check out our Romeo and Juliet show. That's one of our good gigs.
One of the
Uh,
best. And don't forget to tune in in for our upcoming Weird Al episode.
Right. That's right after our sequel to our Frank Zappa show
You son of
that
a.
that Philip has literally been begging me to do. He goes, Novo, when are we gonna do that sequel, man? We gotta do another. We gotta do the posthumous catalog of Frank Zappa. And I say, whoa, baby, there's time. We can get there. Don't worry. We got to talk about the death of late night
But
first.
I want it now.
So that brings us to what we like to do on these open discussion segments is kind of talk about the future because cancellation, forced retirement, whatever you want to call it, when Colbert is out of the seat, he will where will he pivot to? He's probably it doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he wants to really retire. So he's going to go somewhere, and of course all of us are thinking the same thing. Is he going to go to podcasting as well? Probably. There'll probably be some version of that. But I would love to see, what I've always liked about Colbert, why I've followed him and always been a big fan, he's not only charming and captivating,
Very clever.
just funny. He's just a funny guy. Clever. Is he innovates, I remember when the Colbert Report first came out and he was so convincing I thought it was real for a little bit. I was like,
Tons of people didn't even ever catch on.
Yeah, I was like,
There
is
were
he
enough people that
just
truly
like
thought it was
flipped the
legitimately
script?
like, thank God there's finally an alternative to the Daily Show. It's like,
And then I
no, you
realized, oh,
simpletons.
this is the joke. The joke is that he's playing it to be serious and playing a character version of himself. And I feel like he changed the game in a lot of ways. And then when I feel like it was serendipitous that he got his own version of the Legacy Late Night Show, and that it's still one of my favorites. But again, numbers do not equal dollar signs, guys. I cannot stress this enough. You can have the best ratings on the planet, but with how the landscape is, with Hollywood, not even arts and entertainment is like the timid version of like what we do. We're talking classic Hollywood here. Classic Hollywood with new models just don't jive. They do not get along at all, and it was inevitable. But of course, there was a catalyst that if it had to be from somebody, of course it was not a surprise it was from him. Now, with that idea out of the way, one day it'll end. One day he will pivot and go on to something else, and of course we'll follow. We love Colbert, but what does that mean for the rest of us in this medium?
That means we've all got a shot at a big hole in the late night game, baby.
Well, I
No?
think it
Did I
is.
misread that?
I think. Oh, Philip, I have bad news. We're only, me and Philip are artists, so we don't look at this as competition because we're on the same team. Even if Colbert does come into the podcasting world, that's just gonna be a new rift, a new series of shows to separate the audience again and again and again, and that's okay. That's part of the game, right? The game is ever changing, but it did make me think about actual us, and I saved this for the show.
You and me?
Yeah, me and you and Buck.
Oh.
And hopefully Allie one day again. I know she's on hiatus, but Allie, if you're listening, we want you back. Want you back on the team full time. Get off
Miss
the
you, girl.
sideline. But here's something I didn't tell you backstage. What I didn't tell you was part of the reason, when we first got started with Art of the Beholder, I was constantly getting asked by our producer from management, well, you should do like a video podcast. You should do like a talk show, like Rogan or like this, and all the stuff that was really successful. And part of the reason I didn't want to do that was A, there's already a million and one of those, right? And B, I actually thought of Colbert. I was like, there's something classy about doing it how the legacy shows do it. If only we could build ourselves and build the show to the point where we could have a stage and have, nicer equipment, and we could actually have people live sitting down with us, on some couch where I was behind a desk or you were behind a desk, and we could actually make it like a legacy talk show. Then I was like, yeah. So I actually never was like against doing video, talk show content, podcasting kind of shows. It's just that I always had the dream of it being bigger and wanting to build it to the point where we could do something like that. And now seeing that version of late night is dying, is ending, then we have to rise to the occasion. So, guys, we are developing something that includes video. We are working on it right now, and we are going to join the field. But we are going to do our best to stand apart too. We want to be unique and be different. But because my dream is now no longer feasible, I can't have a show like Colbert's ever. So I know by the time we even get there, there won't be a landscape to play in anymore. That we have to evolve our own practice and see if we can bring something new to the table. That is, yeah, the traditional talk show with video and audio and the whole 9 yards. I've always wanted a show like Colbert's as well, alongside the other projects, but knowing that there's no way, and not for the record, I didn't have delusions of grandeur. I didn't think we were going to get big enough to the point where NBC or CBS or ABC was going to be like, let's give this kid a shot. Novo Day is going to get his own little talk show with lapel mics, and he gets to wear a suit and he sits behind a desk and interviews celebrities, mostly musicians and artists. That would be a cool show, though. That would be the dream, where I
Yeah,
get to still interview like
that kind of is the show, but
artists.
just a little elevated.
Yeah, artists and musicians and photographers and all the people that we love and want to put a light on. And so we have to, what is a better phrase for it? We have to change with the changing times and find our own voice within this format and try to be different, but also give you guys something that you can still be comfortable with.
I mean, I don't anticipate any of these changes doing anything negative to the show. I kind of like the idea of it being a little more interactive as opposed to just audio because I'm assuming, I mean, we're still going to it's still going to be on the podcast formats, right?
Yeah.
We
Oh
will
yeah.
just, for YouTube, we will now have video format. So it is essentially going to be the same thing that all of
It'll be the
you,
same show.
yeah, for a lot of you, it'll be the same as it's always been, and that'll be great. And then for those of you who want more, now there will be a little more. And interactivity, I think is good. That engagement is better than bull crap stuff of like fake engagement. We're not going to be doing gimmicky stuff, and what we can do is be the standards that I referenced earlier in the thing, where yes, we like to
There
have a
won't
good
be
time.
rage bait.
Yeah,
You're
we're
not
we're
gonna.
we're gonna goof around still. We're gonna have a good time after really analytically bringing a lot to the table and looking at something that deserves to be discussed and explaining why we think it deserves to be discussed by all of you all as well. And that's all. It's just going to be a more fleshed out version of the same thing. And so it's not for financial reasons at all. And
But all joking aside, yes, it's time to evolve. It's time to change. With that being said, guys, do you hear it? Do you hear it? It's that song from the 90s. Closing time. It's that time again. So you know what to do. You don't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So until next time, we love you.
Art of the Beholder is brought to you by Novo Day Productions. Created by Novo Day and Theodore T. Buckingham. Written, directed, produced, and edited by Novo Day and the NDP Collective. Starring Philip Church of philipchurch.com, that's Philip with one L. Alexandra Parsons of alexandraparsons.com, ALEXANDRA-PARSONS.com. With special contributions by Theodore T. Buckingham. Music by A Company, Instagram handle A_CO_music_. Logo design by Tom Justice of thejusticecompany.com, JESTUS. Thank you again for listening. All rights reserved. The best way to say thank you and to support us is by donating to the cause. In doing so, you'll be able to help us help fellow artists, creatives, and colleagues, promoting their work, the community as a whole, and why we got into this line of work to begin with, to not only make art, but also shine a light on our peers and the gems of the world. For all the hidden ones and the not so hidden that make life worth living, because if we can make things even a little bit better, it'll all be worth it. But we can't do this without you. So please, donate today. And remember, even a little goes a long way to build new bridges, new worlds, and new opportunities. Link and details on how can be found in the show notes below. Because together, we can do anything.